Hi, Selection Committee. My name is Felicity Price-Forehand, and I'm a special education teacher and founder of the Literacy Experience. We're an educational based company who is reimagining how literacy is lived, experienced, and imagined across generations. I am I've spent 12 years in the classroom as an educator, and I've also spent some time in public libraries. And most of all, I am a native of Jacksonville, Florida, which has really shaped my mission and my vision, not only for my career, but for my life. I often think about how amazing Jacksonville is. Not only are we the largest city in the continental US by area, but we have amazing beaches and we also have a cool river that just so happens to flow north, which is very unique. Now, I loved that river, and one vivid memory that I have while growing up was I would go to high school and I went to high school about 45 minutes away from home. So I would have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I would get on the bus at 4:30 and we would drive over the bridge. And I could vividly remember that the image of that bridge in my mind as the bus approached it, and then as we went over and just turning back and looking to see us driving away from the bridge. And so as I think about that, now, and as I thought about that as I was beginning my career, it was almost as if we were traveling a journey from a place of the unknown into a place of opportunity. And so I also took those memories with me as I went into the classroom, because I often meet students who have very similar stories to mine, where they may have grown up in or growing up in circumstances that may not be the best, or they may be seeking opportunity and they understand that education is the way. And so I wanted to not only, be an advocate for those students, but I wanted to do what I could, through my career and what I can in my career and with my expertise, to be able to eliminate that factor of access, especially for our students who have diagnosed and undiagnosed disabilities. And as I interact with students on a daily basis, as a teacher, I use data in order to, get to the root cause of what where their learning challenges may be, starting, or what the origin is. And I often, use interventions and instruction in order to help them to improve their skills. And so when I think about the online doctorate at the University of Florida, with the specialization in dyslexia, I think about how that education will help me improve this process and help me to give me depth in that diagnostic process and be able to refine those interventions to create a model that not only helps the students in my classroom or the students who we support in my company, but for school districts and as well as schools. And so when I took the last year or so to become very intentional and to gain clarity on the problem that I want to solve for the next decade. And as I started to think about this, what came to mind was often in schools, we treat reading deficits as a worksheet problem, as a curriculum problem. Let's teach more, teach more, teach more. But now that I am at the place that I am in my career, I realize that reading deficits and reading outcomes, or lack of reading outcomes, are often a reflection of a lack of systems or a lack of structures. And I have understood ever more important how having those systems and structures can not only affect student outcomes, but it can affect entire schools and communities. I am so impressed with the resources that the University of Florida has produced over the years, from UFly to the Lassinger Center, and I've participated in these programs, and it's helped to really grow my foundational knowledge of reading instruction and how to help kids. It would be an honor to be a part of your program. And I hope that I would, not only be an impact in the world, but also be an impact to Gator Nation.